Hi, it's Mike with AskTractorMike.com. This is my youngest daughter, Reagan, who is going to learn to brush hog today. And we got lots going on here. We got construction in the background. They're cutting down a tree with a chainsaw, and we're gonna make it louder because she's gonna brush hog this big field I've got here. I left a little area for her because you've been wanting to learn how to do this for a while.
Dying to know.
Why?
Well, Dad has insisted that brush hogging and mowing have been his duties for as long as I can remember, and I'd just like to know.
Today we're going to show her how to brush hog, and we've got a field here with a pretty good slope on it. We have a few cherry trees, a lot of autumn olive trees, and a lot of Bradford pear trees that we're going to knock down. It's going to be noisy and loud, but you're going to learn how to do it. And I'm going to get far away. You don't ever want to be too close to someone brush hogging. I'm going to go through the valley and over the hill, and I'm going to be in a lawn chair up there watching to make sure she's doing all right. Let's get started. Okay, I might mention that Reagan has driven a tractor a fair amount. Tell them about what you've done so far, what your tractor experience has been.
Basically, my tractor experience has been moving a hay bale, and then we did some things with is that called a rock rake?
Rock rake, yeah.
Yeah, but it was brush. I was moving brush with that, and then I also moved manure one time.
So you've had a little seat time,
yeah.
But this is the first time to brush hog. And if you've never brush hogged before and you're getting ready to do it, it's going to be loud, it's going to be noisy. There's times you think the world has come to an end the first time you do it, and that's normal. This cutter is designed to cut up to 2-inch material. We don't have anything bigger than that here, so you can run over any of this brush. Just a few things before we get started to give you training. And I know you'll have a lot of questions, and you can stop at any time you get nervous or whatever. Always have your seatbelt buckled. Let's do that now, especially when you're on hills, guys. Anytime you're brush hogging, if you fell off the seat and the safety switch didn't work and you fell off, it could end badly. We don't want that. Okay, you're going to be brush hogging. We've got 2 ranges here, and on this handle right here is a high and low. And if you're running in low, you want to be in low, but if you hit an area where there's nothing and you want to go a little faster, and this is kind of sparse brush, you can hit this button and it'll speed you up and you can go faster. But we're going to be brush hogging. We've got a 2-range hydro in the lower side, so she gets comfortable. And I usually brush hog in the low side anyway. Over here on your right is the raise and lower, and I've got that adjusted. There's a stop in there that stops the handle from going down, and we're going to be brush hogging fairly high today. If you're brush hogging and you're hitting a bunch of rocks, you're too low. So we want to be up about 4 or 5 inches. She'll go over the top of any rocks, and that'll keep our brush hog from getting damaged, and there's no reason to grind up rocks with a brush hog. Then on this side is the power takeoff, and it's this yellow knob here. And Reagan, when you want to engage the brush hog, first off, you'll rev up the engine just a little bit. If you engage it at idle, it may kill the engine. It's really hard on it. It might work, it might not. So we're going to rev the engine up to about 1200 RPM, and then we're really slowly going to move this lever forward. And you'll feel it. You'll see a light come on the dash telling you PTO's on, but you'll feel it, and it takes just a little while to get it up. Now, if you throw it in all at once, there's what's called a shear pin in the brush hog, that if you hit something you shouldn't, it's going to break that pin and not break the gearbox. So if you just throw it in, it's going to shear the shear pin. So you want to just take it, and it'll engage about right here, about halfway down. You'll feel it engage. Then rev your engine up. Now, you usually cut and do heavy work at PTO rated engine speed, and that's where the tractor makes the most horsepower. And on this tractor, it's around 2,500 RPM, but we really don't need all the horsepower right now because we're cutting this sparse stuff. So I'm going to say you put it around 2,200 RPM, and then just off you go.
When engaging the PTO, do I need to be driving, or can I have the engine revved but be at a standstill?
Be at a standstill.
Okay.
And you always engage the brush hog when you're not in tall grass or something like that.
Okay.
And you always want to make sure if the brush hog has been sitting in the same place and you engage it in the spring after it's been sitting all winter, There could be a cat under there or a groundhog. Those never end very well. But we've just driven out here, so there's nothing under it. So you're going to rev up to 1200 RPM. You're going to engage the PTO really slowly, and then you're going to rev it up to 2200 RPM. Off you go. Seatbelts on. I think you're good. Any questions?
Yeah, my biggest question is, you talk a lot about with tractor safety hills.
Yep.
And how you can tip a tractor. So I'm going to be bush hogging on a slope. What is the safest way to do that?
Well, you're going to be kind of going up and down these slopes, which is the way I like to. The time you tip over is when you're on a side hill, and you're really not going to have that here. Now down in this valley, I've gotten all the really dangerous places. So today we really don't have to worry about that. But if you're worried about a slope, go straight up and straight down, okay, and you'll be fine. Just don't go on a side hill. But you'll be fine today. Now every once in a while you'll feel the front wheel go down and it feels like you're tipping over, but I don't think there's any way you can. But you got your seat belt on, you got your roll bar up. If anything happens, you're protected. One last thing I want to say, if you get into any trouble and you're nervous about anything, you can always, on this tractor, just turn the key off.
Okay.
Everything will come to a stop pretty abruptly. Okay. But that's your safety. If you're hitting something, if you get over a big rock and it's grinding it up, you can throw the PTO off. Don't shut the tractor off, throw this yellow knob back, and you can do that immediately and it'll stop. But I don't think you're going to hit any rocks because you're mowing high.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully.
All right, let's go. Well, we're done. Reagan's done.
Woo!
This is an example of what she was cutting.
Yeah, here, I'll show it up close.
That's I don't know how that's going to autofocus, but that's a thorn tree there. That's a locust tree. We got a lot of those in this area. They're
Oops.
Pretty, put that out there where we'll step on it and run it through our shoes. We got a lot of those, but got them down. Looks good. What do you think? First time bush hogging?
It was good. I'm really glad I wore a mask for it because it's really dusty and I'm getting over a bad case of bronchitis, and I'm glad I did that. Really glad.
What about the noise, about the experience, about driving the tractor? Surprised you?
It's pretty therapeutic. It's really loud and you move around a lot. If you have bad allergies, I'd be...
Get a cab tractor.
Yeah, it was a lot of dust. There's a lot of stuff flying at you. I am also glad I wore a build hat, because there's multiple times stuff was flying towards my face from above, and I was protected by the bill of my hat. So.
Well, you did a good job. Looks good.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks.
Pretty
Anything
happy.
else I should say?
No, a couple of things we didn't cover at the beginning. I told her to watch the temperature gauge. Always watch the temperature gauge on your tractor. Never went anywhere, did it?
It did. It actually was getting up almost to red by the end of it.
When you're bush hogging this late in the season, you get a lot of seeds in the radiator, and that's shutting down the flow, and you got to watch that temperature gauge. And you were in two-wheel drive the whole time.
Yeah.
This is relatively level for our area, so she was in two-wheel drive. That makes turning easier. If I'm on the hillier part, I'm in four-wheel drive all the time, but two-wheel drive here. Anything else you can think of?
Yeah, one thing to note, make sure you're watching the ground, like closely on the ground where you're driving, because I found a really expensive horse medicine boot and almost ran over it and chopped it up.
We bought a boot for our horse that had an injured foot, and it immediately kicked it off.
Yeah.
And we found it, and it's $60, and we're happy.
Yeah. Woo! So it's been a good day.
Appreciate you watching our videos. We'd be honored if you'd subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you can do that by clicking the mic face icon and checking the bell so you're notified when I post future videos. Here's a link to the Tractor Fun Store with unique items for sale for the tractor owner. It helps support our family and this YouTube channel. And here's another video you might want to watch. Thanks for watching.